the American dream. It's an idea as old as apple pie. Work hard, buy a house, raise a family. It's the promise that if you put in the effort, you can achieve a better life for yourself and your loved ones. But lately, that dream feels more out of reach than ever. The cost of homes has skyrocketed, and many families are finding it increasingly difficult to secure a place they can call their own. Why? Let's talk about Wall Street, the financial juggernaut that has its hands in almost every aspect of our economy. You see, after the 2008 housing crash, they swooped in, wallets fat with bailout money. They saw an opportunity to turn a crisis into a profit, and they haven't stopped buying houses since. They buy in bulk, often outbidding regular families who just want a place to live. Now, I'm not saying owning a home should be easy. It requires hard work, savings, and sometimes a bit of luck. But it shouldn't be a rigged game either. The playing field should be fair, giving everyone a fighting chance. And that's what it's become. A rigged game where the odds are stacked against the average American. Wall Street, with its deep pockets and fancy algorithms, is tilting the playing field. They use sophisticated tools to predict market trends and outmaneuver regular buyers. They're making it harder for regular folks to buy and driving up prices for everyone. The dream of owning a home is slipping away for many. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about families. It's about communities. It's about the places where we build our lives and create memories. It's about the soul of America and whether the dream of home ownership is still within reach. It's about whether we can still believe in the promise that hard work will lead to a better life. So buckle up, because tonight we're diving into the wild world of Wall Street's housing takeover. We'll explore how we got here, who's benefiting, and what it means for the future of the American dream. Remember the 2008 housing crash? Yeah, good times. It was a period of financial turmoil that left millions of Americans in distress. The housing market collapsed, and with it the dreams of countless families. The ripple effects were felt far and wide, shaking the very foundation of the global economy. Banks made reckless loans, people lost homes, the whole economy nearly went belly up. Families were forced to pack up their lives, leaving behind memories and hopes. Neighborhoods turned into ghost towns with boarded up houses and eviction notices becoming a common sight. But you know who got a sweet deal? Wall Street. While Main Street was drowning in debt and despair, the financial giants were plotting their next big move. They saw the crisis not as a disaster, but as an opportunity. They got bailed out with billions of taxpayer dollars. That's right, the very institutions that played a significant role in causing the crash were handed a lifeline courtesy of the American taxpayer. It was a controversial move that sparked outrage and debate across the nation. And what did they do with that money? They went house hunting, but not in the traditional sense. They weren't looking for a cozy place to call home. No, they were on the hunt for investments, properties they could turn into profit machines. See, when the market crashed, home prices plummeted. Properties that were once valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars were now available for a fraction of the cost. It was a buyer's market, and Wall Street had the cash to buy in bulk. Wall Street saw an opportunity. They realized that by purchasing these homes at rock-bottom prices, they could turn a significant profit in the long run. It was a strategic move, one that would reshape the housing market for years to come. They started buying up foreclosed homes, often at bargain basement prices. Auctions became their playground, and they were the big players with deep pockets. They outbid regular folks, turning the dream of homeownership into a distant fantasy for many. This wasn't just a few hedge funds dabbling in real estate. This was a coordinated effort by some of the biggest names in finance. They pooled their resources, forming alliances and partnerships to maximize their buying power. This was a full-blown buying spree. They weren't just buying a few homes here and there. They were acquiring entire neighborhoods, transforming the landscape of American housing. They created these things called single-family rental companies. Catchy, right? These companies were designed to manage the vast number of properties they had acquired, turning them into rental units. These companies bought up hundreds of thousands of homes across the country. From coast to coast, they amassed a portfolio of properties, becoming major players in the rental market. And just like that, Wall Street went from being bailed out to becoming your new landlord. They shifted from the world of high finance to the realm of property management, changing the dynamics of the housing market and the lives of countless renters. So, how do these Wall Street giants play the housing market like a fiddle? Well, they've got a few tricks up their sleeves. First, they buy in bulk. Imagine trying to outbid a company that can buy 100 houses before you've finished your mortgage application. It's tough. Second, they use technology to their advantage. Forget about driving around looking at open houses. These guys use algorithms and big data to find and purchase homes before you even knew they were for sale. It's like online shopping, but for houses. And finally, they use something called leverage. That's a fancy way of saying they borrow a ton of money to buy even more houses. It's a risky game, but when you're playing with that much money, who cares, right? Section 4 priced out the real cost of Wall Street's housing game. Now you might be thinking, so what if Wall Street is buying houses? More landlords, more options, right? Wrong. This isn't your grandpa's landlord renting out a spare room. This is corporate landlords owning entire neighborhoods, and it's having a real impact on everyday people.
First, it's driving up prices. When Wall Street buys up all the houses, it creates less supply and more demand. Basic economics tells us that means prices go up, and not just a little bit. We're talking about home prices skyrocketing out of reach for many families. Second, it's making it harder to find a place to live. Imagine competing with $1 billion company for a starter home. It's not a fair fight.
Section 5. From families to investors, the changing face of our neighborhoods. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about real people, real families being priced out of their own communities. It's about the American dream turning into a nightmare for those who can't afford Wall Street's version of it.
Neighborhoods once filled with families are now dominated by rental properties owned by faceless corporations. The sense of community, the feeling of belonging, it's slowly eroding as houses become just another asset in a portfolio. This isn't just about housing. It's about the fabric of our society. It's about the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. It's about the fundamental question of what kind of country we want to be.
Section 6, the Martinez family, priced out of their own American dream. Let's put a face on this, shall we? Meet the Martinez family.
Maria is a teacher and Miguel is a construction worker. They've been saving for years to buy their first home. They finally found the perfect place, a cozy 3-bedroom with a backyard for their 2 kids. They were outbid, not by another family, but by an investment firm. The firm offered cash, way above asking price. The Martinez family didn't stand a chance.
This is the reality for millions of Americans. They're being outbid, priced out, and pushed aside by Wall Street's insatiable appetite for housing. The American dream is slipping away, one house, one family at a time. Section 7. A house divided Wall Street's impact on society. The financial district, with its towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, is more than just a hub of economic activity. It's a symbol of power, influence, and the far-reaching impact it has on every aspect of our lives. So there you have it. The heart of America's financial system, where fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye, has a profound effect on our society. Wall Street, flush with cash and fueled by greed, has turned our housing market into their own personal casino. The stakes are high and the players are ruthless, with little regard for the lives they disrupt. They're gambling with people's lives, treating homes like chips in a high-stakes game. Families are being uprooted, evicted, and forced to navigate an increasingly hostile housing market. This isn't just about housing, it's about the soul of America. It's about the values we hold dear and the kind of society we want to build for future generations. It's about the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. The disparity between the wealthy and the poor is growing, and it's becoming more visible in our communities. It's about the fundamental question of what kind of country we want to be. Do we want to be a nation that prioritizes profit over people, or one that values community and compassion? We need to ask ourselves, are we willing to accept a system that allows corporations to profit off of people's basic need for shelter? Are we okay with the idea that the American dream is becoming increasingly out of reach for many? Are we okay with a system where corporations profit off of people's basic need for shelter? The housing market should be a place where families can find stability and security, not a playground for the rich. Are we comfortable with the American dream being auctioned off to the highest bidder? The dream of owning a home, of having a place to call your own, is slipping away for many. The answer, my friends, is a resounding no. We cannot stand idly by while our communities are torn apart by greed and indifference. We need to demand better. We need to come together as a community and fight for a system that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. We need to fight for affordable housing, for stronger regulations, for a system that puts people before profits. It's time to hold those in power accountable and ensure that everyone has a fair chance at the American dream. The future of our communities and our country depends on it. Together, we can build a society that values people over profits and ensures that everyone has a place to call home.